Hey y'all, I wanted to tell you guys a little story of a memory that I had. I was just thinking, since today's April 3rd, 16 years ago, my husband and I had already adopted our oldest daughter. She's hearing, she's a coda, and we adopted her, and she really wanted a brother or sister. And with me having the miscarriages and struggling to get pregnant, she really was wanting another sibling. So we started looking. And I contacted CPS. I started looking for a deaf child in particular. I knew there were deaf children out there somewhere. And my husband really wanted a boy. So we started looking and looking and looking. We sent out applications everywhere. Our family was never selected. And I knew if it was the right person for our family, then God would work it out. So we sent out tons of applications. I went through thousands of profiles and photos. They were never labeled deaf due to HIPAA laws. So they would just say nonverbal. They wouldn't say can't speak, but they would say nonverbal. And so the actual diagnosis of deaf or hard of hearing was never disclosed. So I went through tons of pictures, and I was just hoping that I would get a glimpse of an expression, some famous deaf expression or something. But I came across this little girl, and she just really touched my heart. And I clicked on her photo, and it didn't say anything about her being deaf. It just said nonverbal. Didn't say anything about hearing loss or anything. And I thought, I really was thinking about her, and it bothered me all through the night. So first thing in the morning, I called the phone number in Florida, and they said, no, she's already been adopted. I said, oh, darn. Okay. Well, I guess she's not the one for us. And then 2 months later, I was still thinking about her. Obsessing over her. She kept popping up in my head. And I was still going through profile photo after profile photo of children up for adoption. But I couldn't get that girl out of my head. So I called again. And I gave him the child number. And they said, oh, she was adopted, but she was returned. Somebody changed their mind. And so I gave him all my information, sent in our application. And then I heard back, and she was actually deaf. I couldn't believe it. I knew it was from God. And so they reached out to me, and they sent me her file. And her medical file was huge. And I read through every page, and I was just in shock. I said, oh my gosh, she must have so many health problems. And they said she had a mental disability. She would never be capable of learning. But in my heart, after talking to my husband, we just decided to go ahead with it. And they said, come now if you want to meet her before we go to court. So we drove all night. It was a 24-hour drive to get there to Florida. And we met her. And it was just an instant connection. Instant. And she was pointing at things. She didn't even know her name, or she didn't know any signs, any words, nothing. So she was pointing, and my husband and I and my daughter, we were all taking turns. She'd point to flowers and buses, and she wanted to know the sign for everything. She instantly started learning, and we just knew she was our daughter. And that's Amora, our daughter. I often don't talk about our adoption journey much these days. All 4 of our adopted children are adults now. But this just popped up on my memories on Facebook, and I thought, wow, it's been 16 years. I'll show you some pictures of what it looked like back when we went to Florida to meet her, and we just fell in love with her. She overcome their thoughts, their opinions of what a deaf child was capable of doing. They thought she couldn't, and she proved that a deaf person can. A deaf person can do anything. So anyway, I hope that inspires some of you guys, and keep your faith. If you're currently looking and frustrated, looking for your adopted child that's out there, don't give up. Keep going, keep searching, keep praying. Stay blessed. Love you.